Live on ultiworld.com, we have North Carolina Darkside coach David Allison, Captain Matt Gushohannes, and Liam Searles-Bose.
This is Patrick Stegmiller from ultiworld.com. This one's going to go to Coach Allison first. When you're preparing to play a team like SLO, rangy, long athletes, known for their intensity, does that change anything that you're doing when you have a team like that? Or are you guys just kind of sticking to what you've tried and true done this season?
Yeah, I mean, I think that we as a team would like to think that the way that we play, the style that we play is successful no matter what the opponents are. We've definitely played teams like that before. UNC Wilmington comes to mind. Rangy, really aggressive, not in a bad way, but like physical, hard team. And I think maybe playing those guys helps us play a game like that because we know the kind of intensity it's going to take from the beginning of the game till the end.
Liam, so the team's made some changes, offense, defense. Matt's been moved over to the D-line. How have you found?
You want to know?
I guess.
How have you found that your role has changed now that the team has sort of like reached its final form here at Nationals?
I don't know. I think the O-line has kind of like gelled really well. Getting Matt off the O-line has been super helpful. He takes up a ton of space, and getting Elijah over there, Elijah basically fills Matt's role, except he does a better job. So that's been really great. We're having a lot of fun. We're really enjoying playing Frisbee together, and I think that's really the key. We're working together really well. We all know our roles, and feels good.
How fun was it to keep making plays against a slow core team that was bidding for everything?
It was very fun game overall. Like, it's always great to compete against a team that works that hard and is that talented and athletic. And you know, that was a blast of a game to play in under the lights. Like, these are my favorite games that I've ever played in.
And Matt, where have you been hiding your deep hucking game all these years?
On the O-line.
So this question could go to any of the three of you. In the history of college men's ultimate, what teams are better than you guys?
You know, I'm sure that there are lots of them. I personally don't know enough history of college ultimate to name them off the top of my head. I think Pittsburgh had some very dominant years before I was in college. I think there are some California teams that were very dominant a little ways ago. But you know, I personally don't know enough history to know the answer to that question.
Yeah, I mean, we're just trying to be the best team this year, right? Like, people that want to talk about, like, historically how good this team is, we'll be flattered to be in that conversation, but we got another game tomorrow. So we're just trying to take care of business this year. We haven't done anything yet.
How close do you guys think you were to really hitting your ceiling in this game? I mean, you put a hurt on a really strong team today. Do you feel like this is about as well as you guys are going to be able to play, and this kind of game is good enough to win you a title?
We expect to play better. We always expect to play better.
Ditto.
Also want to draw attention to Alex Davis's performance today. Seemed like he was really clicking. Is this the kind of effort you see from him in most games, or did you feel like this was a standout performance?
Well, can I go?
Yeah, I think so.
Thanks, TA. Appreciate it, man.
No, man. Share the ball.
AD's awesome. He's really fast. He's always really fast. I don't think that changes from game to game, but he was really aggressive tonight. He looked confident, which is something that we've been pushing him to be all year because he's nice with it, and it was great to see him kind of come out tonight and show his stuff.
Is he the fastest player on the team?
Yeah, he's the fastest player in Ultimate right now.
Daniel Prentice, ultiworld.com. Last time you guys played Brown, it didn't go so well for you all. That's who waits you in the final. What's the game plan for tomorrow? How do you make tomorrow go differently than the last time you played?
I think we plan on scoring more points than they do.
I think we're enjoying this moment right now, and we'll get back. We'll ice up, get some Epsom salts, eat some food, and we'll figure out what we want to do tomorrow.
Yeah, I think at Easterns and a little ways along the way, we kind of lost our sense of enjoyment, and we got caught up in what our performance on the field was, and we're in a really good spot as a team right now, and have a really good mentality coming into this game. Just gonna play hard, looking for a test.
Last one from me. So these were some of the most calm conditions we've had here at the tournament this weekend. Did that affect your mentality at all heading into the game? Like, it looked like both teams were really excited to play something that actually kind of resembled Ultimate tonight, which not so much the past few days.
Personally, I don't feel like it changed my mentality coming into the game. I think, I try to play the game and acknowledge the conditions, but not put too much emphasis on them. So, I really don't feel like we changed around what we were trying to do a whole lot. We just adjusted, did our best to adjust to the slightly different conditions, and that was about it.
I think we have been playing really good Ultimate all weekend, regardless of conditions.
I think one final question. I'll let you guys get out of here. Matt, what did winning the Callahan Award today mean to you?
Great question. I personally am not super big on individual awards. So what I'll say about winning the Callahan is that I think it's a wonderful testament to the UNC Darkside program. The coaches and the teammates, the ability to foster players, not only develop and foster player on-field skill, but also leadership off the field. I think I represent a larger group of players that Darkside has produced, so I think that this award should illustrate, what kind of players Darkside produces, what kind of people that Darkside produces, and I'm just one example of the many people that could have won this award.
From ultraworld.com, David Allison, Matt Gusho-Hannes, Liam Searles-Bose, North Carolina Darkside. Thanks, guys.
Get some sleep.
They're both really good games. I mean, like, honestly, the first game today was really, you guys were asking about short, but it was really
So I put the headphones on.
Backwards hat. Or off. You can put it forward if you want.
You just said right. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And do you have any sponsors?
Oh yeah, I was gonna ask. Is there anything for you guys?
No.
Is there anything for you guys? Fuck me.
I was hoping for a hot. I swear.
Live on ultraworld.com of Cal Poly SLO. We have Coach Cody Mills and Captain Caleb Merriam.
So thanks for doing this, guys. First one goes to Coach Mills. So when you're playing a team like UNC that has so many strengths, are you more focused on trying to find weaknesses on their team or on limiting what they do well?
I think it's find weaknesses, essentially. We probed around for a few things, making them swing wide, making them shoot deep. They just kept answering. But it's definitely about finding weaknesses and finding something they're uncomfortable with. And we threw out a handful of different looks, but they were equal to them all.
And Caleb, so as a center handler, someone who's moving the disc vertically a lot, this weekend has been really windy, but tonight the conditions were a little calmer, probably some of the calmest playing environment you've had. Going into the game, did that change your mindset at all, or were you sort of just trying to take the game as it came?
You definitely saw it with the more open game, like all the first points, everyone's shooting downwind. You could see the wind had died off, and so people are more comfortable shooting both ways. Forget the rest of your question, but it definitely felt pretty good out there. With the less wind, you definitely could get more edge on your throws. They're not just going to sail out the back, and you saw some pretty nice throws, especially from our first-year center handler, Calvin Brown. So shout out to Calvin for really stepping up this game.
Is there any other players that you think like really played a great game, just like above your expectations for necessarily either what they were going to do today, or maybe even at the beginning of the season you didn't see that they had this kind of game or this kind of performance in them?
No, not really. I mean, I'm pretty honest. We knew the level each of us could hit, and I think we went out there and it definitely got congested at points. We weren't playing the cleanest ultimate, but we saw in the one-on-one matchups we were hitting our stride. We were making plays, and that's where we wanted to be going into tonight. And didn't go our way. They're a really good team, and all credit to them for executing on a lot of things. And a couple things maybe had gone our way, or we hit a couple more looks, we'd be a much closer game.
Another one for Caleb here. So Coach Mills has been with the team for 2 seasons now. Can you speak specifically to any differences you've noticed since he's come aboard, that either things in practice or things that manifest on the field, anything like that?
Yeah, it's definitely he brings the Stanford approach. He never fails to remind us that he's from Stanford. He played for Stanford.
It's important. That's important.
It's important. He's educated. He's helping us slowly, public school, just agrarian kids, and it's really big of him to do that. But I mean, on top of that, like in all seriousness, he brings a structure that we hadn't experienced before as a program. He's brought a set of track workouts and lifting workouts that we weren't on as a team, and I think we saw with the full team buy-in this year, we saw like huge dividends with our fitness, with our speed, with our lack of injuries, all just throughout the whole year, and it led us to a season where we ended up with 6 losses, which is something I never imaginable. And taking the 4th seed at Nationals, if you told me my freshman year, that's mind-blowing. I would not have believed you. So, I mean, that structure was it had a huge impact on us in our season and just the team as a whole. And going forward, that in place, the freshmen know how to work now. The sophomores know how to work now. And just going forward, that's going to build and build and build, even if the talent's not necessarily there, which it is right now. And we hope to keep recruiting, but come to Slowcore. Great school, cheap price, sunny, 10 minutes from the beach. But yeah, he's brought a lot of structure, and then also just the cyberbullying is pretty big. Anonymous texting, it hurts sometimes, but like I'm definitely the big culprit. But I'll stop there.
How could you tee him up like that?
Would you say it's a top 5 coach?
Cody Mills is for sure a top 5 coach, and bottom 5 on the other scale.
All right, this is for both of you. I think watching this semifinal tonight that you and UNC have the 2 fastest offenses I've seen all weekend, both in terms of foot speed and in terms of moving the disc. How do you keep finding a measure of success while pushing that pace?
Definitely some of it's chemistry. We worked all year on just pushing the pace. We saw it tonight where for most of the game we're hitting our stride, we're hitting those triple points that we wanted to hit out there, and then moving on. And when it got stagnant, UNC really locked us up, and that was great on them. That made it hard for us. We struggled when they did. But when we are moving the disc, it's just a chemistry thing. It's just we played together 5 years for some of us. And the other ones are really talented at ultimate, and that goes a long way. And I'm really jealous of how good they are as freshmen, and I suck. So
I think it's a lot of you've set up the framework of what you're trying to do, and to get people up to speed reading the framework, and that's sort of the 80% solution. And then once you get to the framework, like Caleb mentioned, like triangle cuts, triple points, all the finer details, and then once you see different things like poaches in the lane, triangles, you can learn the improvisation of it, and then from there it's just repetition. And the faster you read the game, the faster you can go. But you can only go as fast as your mind can read the game, and there's a lot of chemistry involved in that. We have a few upperclassmen who are really good at improvisation and reading the field, and that helps a lot in terms of catching the glitches in the system, so to speak, and correcting them.
Yeah, Caleb, I'd specifically like to talk to you. I know this season has been pretty fantastic for Cal Poly, but if memory serves, in your first season, the team didn't even qualify for regionals. Do you maybe want to speak about or the season before you perhaps, do you maybe want to speak about the journey that this program has been on?
Yeah, I'd love to. I will say, yeah. So, I mean, the guys who came before us had just a huge impact on we didn't have a B team before I showed up. We had maybe like 5 guys showing up, and they were banished to the Shadow Realm from the A team practice. So those guys who first just started building the team just as guys who came out, and we weren't taking it as seriously. We weren't doing the track routes, we weren't doing the lifting, but we were constantly hanging out together. We were living together. We were studying together when we would study, but overall just having a really great time and building just everlasting friendships. So that's super special, but like, I mean, there's former captains who captained 2-3 years, put in so much work, put in so much time to get our class especially to buy into this team and to understand what it takes to like meld the team. And then, I mean, hopefully we lived up to their legacy, and hopefully the guys under us can keep building on that. But just some guys in particular, like especially Christopher Cogswell, just huge impact on all the 5th years for just his like love of the game and his goofiness. And we know he's not the best player, but like he's one of the greatest captains I've ever had, and I've tried to be like him every time I can.
All right, last one from me. This one's for Cody. Cody, do you have any advice for Brown tomorrow?
Oh, man.
Throw to John Randolph.
It was honestly at the top of my mind. I keep forcing them out. They turn it deep on tape. Didn't happen tonight, but
Any more questions? All right, multiworld.com, Cody Mills, Caleb Merriam of Cal Poly SLO. Thanks, guys.